How many of you know Terry? How many know Lori? These are two amazing rock stars with virtual parties, and I can tell you, if you are not doing virtual parties or doing as many as we all do up here, you want to start investing in that. So we're going to give you some information today. I'm going to ask them questions. We'll go back and forth and see what their responses are, but you're going to get a lot of great tips today on virtual parties. All right, ladies, are you ready? Sure. Okay, so number one is, what is something you would say to get virtual hosts to book a show with you?
Well, truthfully, a lot of my shows are a lot of fun. So I get hosts to book with me because I do have a lot of fun. It's not about PC products and what they actually buy as much as it is the experience. The same thing we do in our cooking shows. So a lot of times it's, can I pamper you? Can we have some fun? Let's go party. Because you certainly can do that virtually.
I do the same thing. I do highlight some of the products that people do want to have in their kitchen, like the quick cooker and stuff like that, and that seems to, snag people. But my parties are all about fun. It's very little product, like one post a day about product. The rest is games and interaction, because it's just like a kitchen show. You're trying to get to know the people that are in the virtual living room, and by drawing them in and talking to them, and then later on developing a relationship and private messaging them, that's how you get the bookings.
So they both said fun. So are you sending GIFs out like Grace does?
No.
Just checking. We'll have to make sure we were clear on that one.
No, mine's very PC, not different stuff.
Very good. So theirs is rated G, unlike Grace's. So number two, okay, so once you have your show scheduled, where do you begin to set it up? And just before we even answer this, and I'll repeat the question, how many people in the room currently are not doing virtual parties? Just to have a feel. Okay, so some people are new to this. So I thought this would be a great question because sometimes people don't start something like this because they don't even know where to begin. So how do you ladies start a virtual party? What do you do to set yours up?
I sort of changed my show schedule from last year. I've gone down to 7 days now. I don't do a 10-day party. I like it to run over 2 Fridays because, as opposed to extending the party to make sure people can hit a payday, I just started on a Friday now. So then it would close the following Sunday, so I've hit 2 Fridays. So generally I'll set the show up on Facebook on, like, say, the Tuesday, usually the Tuesday. I have static posts which include, like, welcome to the party, here's the show link, here's the guest special. I'm so excited, I can't wait to start having some fun. So after my static posts are posted, I invite my host. She now has 24 hours to invite her people. I tell her to invite at least 50, no more than 200. I like around 100. That seems to be a good number. It's like spaghetti on the wall. Throw enough spaghetti on the wall, it'll stick. You get enough people in there, they're gonna, see the views. So by Wednesday, if she hasn't invited or invited enough, I encourage her. I start out with a positive post. You're doing great so far, but let's see if we can invite a few more people, because it's more fun when there's more people in the room, just like a regular party. And you don't want those 3 people to feel obligated to have to buy. So if there's 50 people, it sort of relieves the pressure. And then I usually...
and you say that?
I do, okay. To her, yeah. You want to do a lot of hostess coaching, just like you would for a real party. Because they've never done it before, so they don't know what to do. And then by Thursday, she's got everybody invited. This is probably the most important post you can do, and you can find it on Coffee Talk, because I put all my stuff on Coffee Talk, is I have the host post how to change your notifications, because it has to come from her. These are all her friends. I am not friends with them. They are not going to see me post it. She posts how to change the notifications with a picture, and I have the words, so all she does is just copy paste it into the party. That gets you more views. The more views, the more chance people have to see the posts, and the more people buy. Yeah.
Are you doing groups or events?
I only do groups, because that's the only way CinchShare will post. You're crazy if you don't use CinchShare. It's so much easier. Oh, well, or some version of. I'm sorry. What's my? $10 a month. It's worth it.
Tax write-off.
What? Tax write-off.
Cheaper.
And what were the different ones?
Post My Party and
Post My Party and CinchShare are the top ones.
You can also use Facebook.
You can use a schedule. If you're not doing a lot of parties, you can use, in groups, you can schedule your own posts. So if you're doing one party,
If you're doing one party, you can use Facebook to schedule it. But I'm doing multiples. There's no way, and then you have to copy paste it each one. SynShare does it all for me. But if you're only doing one, it's not that bad to schedule it. So if you want to start out small and not invest in it, but SynShare is free for the first 37 days, so you might as well use it, and it's super easy.
There's actually a YouTube video on how to use SynShare. It's 5 minutes long. It's the best 5 minutes you're going to spend if you want to invest in your business, because it will train you exactly what you need to do to get the basics down, and then you'll be able to run with it. It's just repetition then.
The other, go ahead.
Sorry, can you remind us how to, don't you have to click a button to get
Sure.
SynShare approved? Can you remind us how to do that?
Sure, absolutely, real quick. So if you are using SynShare or Post My Party or any third party, when you set up the show in Facebook, you need to go into your settings of the actual group, and you have to click on apps and then choose that third party so you can post to it. Now, if you're a brand new user with these third party applications, there is another step that you actually have to go into your settings, into your business, there's a business section. And prove that. Perfect. That's brand new. We're finding that because now we have all these brand new people that we're trying to bring on and train and onboard, and they're getting frustrated because it's not working. So if you don't know that, how to do that, let us know. So one of the things as far as virtual shows, as soon as you get it, is commit to have some fun. If you're dreading these shows, you're not going to do well. So that's why we use SynShare, I think, more than anything, is it does the work part so we can do the fun part. Anyone can do posts. It's the interaction that you do with those posts that matters and make a difference in your party. And treat these just like your cooking shows. Get those catalogs out early. Talk to them on a weekly basis several times before the show. Definitely work with them. Host coaching is huge. When you're not in front of someone, it's really hard to gauge them. But if you do it often enough, you can certainly do it, I think, better than being in front of them. As far as anything else, as far as when did you get the party, just as I said, commit to it, have fun. Because I've talked to many consultants saying, it's not working, this isn't, I can't get anything out of it, my shows, sales are low. And I'm like, are you having fun? And the answer is always no.
Okay, so you talk about host coaching, and I know host coaching we've done differently over time. And it's obviously, we're used to home shows where you could call the person on the phone. So how do you host coach effectively for your virtual parties to get your host to kind of buy into the party and make sure that they're going to be committed as much as you are?
I don't beg for bookings. That's one of the things I try not to do, even in a home party. I want motivated hosts that actually want to have a party. So that's one, I think that really helps out a lot by starting out with hosts that want to be there. I hostess coach every day as long as they're not posting on their own. I have a couple that go out and grab pictures and do all their own stuff. If they're doing their own thing, I don't hostess coach them. But there's a lot of people that are not tech savvy, they don't know how to do stuff on their phone. So again, in Coffee Talk, my hostess coaching document is in there. You can copy and paste everything. I copy and paste to each person that's running a party, the words and the picture for them to post. Because we want the guests to see the hosts post every day. It's their virtual living room. We don't want them in the bedroom. So by having them in the living room talking, because the friends are there to see their host. They're not there to see me. So you want the host interacting. And I just give her little things to say or do, tell her to comment on the games, play the games. If she sees me post something that she knows a friend likes to bake, then tag that person. It's really easy stuff, and it's not rocket science. It really isn't. But you want them interacting. Yes?
So when you send that to them, are you sending it to them through private messenger?
Yes, everything's through private message. I don't do any group coaching. Every one of my hostess coaching is through private message. I want an individual. I don't know about you, but if you get a group text, you kind of ignore it after a while, just like a conference call. It's easy to walk away. I want it very individualized and that way I get their attention, and I can also see if they viewed it. And I don't do competitions or anything like that against my hosts. I don't think it's effective for me.
Do you set it up on your phone so that you have all your host coaching,
I wish I did.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I do all of it from a computer. But I'm home during the day, so I can do that. But it's first thing in the morning. I open up all the hosts. They have all their
Messengers,
all the messengers, and I have like 80 million tabs open for Facebook, and then I copy, paste, you know, like, and then I just hit send, you know.
Didn't you used to like have a message with you and your daughter, and then that way you could forward
Yes,
it from there?
yeah, and I need to pull that back up again. I forgot I did that. Thank you, Tiffany. She's so smart.
Alright,
never know.
Her
There's
and her
never
daughter
yes.
on private messenger, because her daughter's just gonna ignore it anyway.
Yeah.
But you can go back in the conversation and just hit forward.
I forgot I could do that.
See, Tiffany? I love
Everybody needs a Tiffany.
I know.
I forgot I did
I
that.
have videos that I send, so I go back into an old message, instead of keeping them on my camera roll, I just hit forward, and they're saved like in Facebook.
I forgot I did that.
Or in your notes
Yeah,
on
you
your
can do it
phone.
with
I
yourself,
save a
or
lot of
like, I don't
stuff.
message my husband through Facebook, so I could like do that with him.
But I do it all from a computer mostly.
Exactly what she just said, it's personalized, you definitely need to make personalized. I like to get, again, it's a fun thing, I would keep coming back to that. So I'll pay attention to the party, I'm like, did you see what Susie just said? You should comment. Did you see this? Did you do that? You know, everything, and when people post things within it, I'm telling the host to help me respond. Because when they see the host excited, they get excited. When there's interaction between the both of us, and then you get a couple more people doing it, it really goes well. But daily, absolutely daily posting from host coaching with them, get them to go in and put things in there, get them to put things on their wall, get them to text people out an invitation. Just because Red Stamp is gone does not mean we should not be sending out invitations. Absolutely, that's important. People love invitations. I don't care if it's just a little picture that says, we're doing a party for 5 days, whatever it is. I guess that's about it, yeah. But just do it, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't happen often to me, but every now and then I get a host that sees my messages and doesn't respond and doesn't do what I ask them to do. Do you ever have that happen? And what do you do? I mean, I'll keep encouraged.
No,
Do you just drop it right then and there, or do you still try to,
I still host as coach.
even if
And-
they're not? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's-
and if they choose, you can't make them do it.
no, I know. Yeah.
And if they decide not to do it, that's gonna be the $200 party.
Yeah.
Or it won't qualify.
Right.
And that happens,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but,
Yeah.
you know, when I host as coach, my parties are $1,000. I'm closing a party tomorrow that's $1,000 and I recruited my host. I didn't leave my house
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
More than anything, it's the minority.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah,
No.
no, I don't.
I mean,
It's
really
very
don't.
rare.
Because that'll get you down, and that'll affect everything that you're doing.
Oh, I just
So.
feel bad for her.
Yeah.
'Cause
I keep trying a
she's
couple
not gonna
times
do the
though.
work.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna say too is, like, I know I'm very busy at times, so if she's not looking, still keep host coaching.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you have those people that are not
Yeah.
necessarily tech savvy, but they're collecting the catalog orders outside. Once in a blue
Never
moon, you
know.
get that fluky host that might be reading everything, but doesn't necessarily respond to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So don't take it personal.
No, yeah.
No. And I,
One more thing?
oh, sure.
And there is the occasion that they are so tech savvy not, that they'll give you access to their Facebook. I've done that before too.
I have done that too.
If they're really struggling, they will give me the username and password and I do the posting for them.
Oh, that's
Or if they're too busy. I've done it with a couple hosts.
So now jot that down, because now you're gonna get everybody's Facebook password all over the state and country. Yes, ATM next, and then you'll be shopping. I just wanted to add one thing too. So with the host coaching, something new I've recently tried. I'm busy, so I know like when I get a longer post explaining something to me, I sometimes just scan it. So I thought, well, there's other people in the world that are as busy as I am. So I started to do training videos, and I'll do a 2 or 3 minute daily like video to them, so that if they're driving in their car, they can push play on their phones and hear my training instead of reading the training. And then I'll still go back and make sure that I reiterate, but it's a shorter message to them, and I'm using the video, and that's been very effective for me also. But you make your video once, just change your outfits each time you do a video, you're good.
Tiffany knows.
So.
Yeah, I've done
Your
that.
hair and makeup day, just change your shirt real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have a question?
No, I was just gonna make a comment,
Sure.
if I could, about host coaching. So I just discovered, right, I'm not super tech savvy, but I have an Android, so if anybody here is an Android user, I used to do virtual party host coaching through a private secret party group, but now I pre-schedule text messages with the photo and the words, and you can sit down, and you don't send it as a group text, I send it individually, and time it whatever time, 8 a.m. or noon or whatever. And so I have all these text messages set to go out every day to my hosts, and they text me back. Why? Because people look at their text messages. Oh my God, I forgot to do my save the date. I'll do it right now. Like, you get a response back. I'm seeing more often than people just reading it on a Facebook group. So if you have an Android, I can show you that. If you want to pre-schedule text messages to go out.
So there's a lot of tech savvy things to help you with your business. So don't be afraid to post this on the team page that we have for this, because your little tips and how to do things are what we all need to make all of us successful in the business. So please make sure, like, that's a great post for Android users. Okay, so great, thank you. Okay, moving along. So I know we've all probably been there. Oh, somebody else have a question? Oh, sorry.
You want me to hold it? Hold it. I'll hold it.
What?
Her question.
Oh, no,
I didn't know
I'm
if
sorry,
you
I didn't see your
were
hand.
finished
I'm so short, I didn't see
Go
it.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Have you found problems with hosts inviting people? Like, Facebook seems to be shutting them off now or something. Is there a way around this?
Like inviting too many?
Yeah.
I think what
No,
happens
like,
is
can't
they,
even invite over 6.
I think it sometimes depends on the speed of how they invite, and if they're doing it from their phone or if they're doing it from a computer. Other than that, I can't really help you. I mean, sometimes what's happened is I'll just delete the party and start a new one, and then they just start over. Like if they can't get more than 6 people, invited or whatever.
It's like fluky with Facebook.
It's
I don't
very
know what it's just Facebook right now. We obviously have a lot of glitches.
But it's less issues with your computer, so try to do it with your computer. And I have them book, actually adding 10 to 20 at a time, and that seems to take care of that issue. So just have them do it slow, and they will definitely get to it.
So you don't have them post asking who wants to be invited. You just have them add people.
I don't, some choose to.
I still have them do that though, to their wall. I
Oh, yeah.
have them
There's a
post
post
saying, I'm having a party. If you missed the invite, make sure you click going.
So you have
or-
them invite people,
Initially,
add people in, and you have them ask who wants to be
Yeah.
invited.
Yeah, I
We're
don't have
gonna-
them ask permission, no. I just invite.
All right, we're gonna hold all the questions to the end, or you can see these two lovely ladies then in a little bit. We wanna keep moving along so that way we get through some of these questions. So this is probably a question everybody has in the room. So you have a virtual party set up. Your host might be posting, but there's still crickets on the party and nobody's interacting. What do you do?
The beauty of doing groups, having groups, is you can see who has seen that post. So many times I will tag those people into the post I want them to see or to pay special attention to. This does help because 1 in 5 will usually respond if you tag them in. It might bother a few, but that is a small minority, and you get what you need out of it is that interaction. But the more you do interacting posts initially and not sales, you build that relationship. The first day I do my show, it's all about the connection with them, having fun with them, get to know them, have some, play games, everything. And then you can sell. But you have to create that relationship like any other relationship that you have out there.
That's why you want to keep your people to less than 250 invited, because then you can still see the views. After it gets to 255 or 251, you don't see who's viewed the post. So that's why it's better to keep it below that, and I think it keeps it more personal too. Very rarely do I have cricket shows. I know it does happen, but I do the same thing. I see who is viewing, and then I'll tag them. I'm like, all right, Marcy, what's your favorite pizza, or whatever, just to get them to answer it. And I understand people are busy, and that does happen, but I encourage the host too that she does the tagging as well, and then like calling people out, so to speak, so that it involves them in the party. Because some people, if they're on their phone, they'll just go, oh, and then I'll get back to it later, and then they don't get back to it. So it's not usually on purpose.
Okay, so I know we might be curious. So ladies, you've been doing virtual parties for a while now. So up to today's date, what is your highest sales in a virtual party you've had up to this point?
$16 shy of $2,500.
Wow, nice job.
3,300. And for the most part, my show average with virtual parties hovers around $1,000.
All right, so now how many shows do you do within a month, would you say? Or do you split them up weekly? Like, how do you do your shows, and how many do you do?
just however many. I don't really have a goal. To me, virtual parties are gravy. I still do kitchen shows. I still try to plan to do 6 to 8 kitchen shows in a month. But virtual parties is money on the table that I want to take. So I'm going to keep doing them as long as they're successful. But I think I have a good formula to make them successful, so I'm going to keep doing them. I mean, why wouldn't I want to get $300 from this party I'm closing, for never leaving my house? So it's just however many. I don't have a goal for virtual parties. It's just however many. But it usually ends up working out to be about 5 to 6 virtual parties I do in a month. I try to run them over Fridays. I usually start them on a Friday. So you just kind of, look at your calendar to, kind of gauge it. So yeah.
Are you still doing first month? And then on the second month?
No, I just do the Friday thing. I was.
Evolve.
Yeah, we do evolve. We do evolve. Because I found I was extending them anyway. But people are like, well, I get paid on Friday. All right, so now I just started on a Friday, and then we close it on the following Sunday. We hit 2 Fridays. So, yeah, before I did the dates, and it's easier. It seems to work out better.
So my personal goal is to do 6 virtual parties for myself every single week. I do Monday through Friday parties. Again, I've kind of evolved. I was doing 10 and then 7, and now I do a nice Monday through Friday. A couple posts on on Sunday. It works very well because when people are at work, they're more actively on Facebook, and on the weekends they can enjoy it, especially this summertime. But even in the holidays and everything else, your weekends are packed, and I don't want to be in competition for their attention.
I'm so glad you said that.
Doesn't mean I don't extend, when they close on Fridays to the weekends so they can put orders in still, and I don't tell them until we do the close. But I'm very big on recruiting. I'm always recruiting, so I can be running anywhere from my 6 plus another 6 because I run the first shows for my new recruits. And when they don't close right away, like last week, I had 17 shows sitting open.
Wow. So now we're going right into recruiting because that was what I was going to ask next. So how do you go about recruiting? Like obviously you might ask your host to join your team, but on average, how many people do you recruit, and how do you go about doing this on your virtual parties?
She's better at it.
I know better. Anyway, I love recruiting because I love Pampered Chef, just like we all do, but I really put it into a recruiting mode. So I recruit probably 2 to 4, sometimes 6 people a month on an average. It doesn't mean they always qualify, it doesn't mean they always stay with the business for very long, but I do get them interested and get them started and get them to try it. Majority of my recruits are my hosts, so again, if I'm in front of 6 people per week, then of course I'm going to get hosts that are joining. I talk to my hosts 4 times minimum about the opportunity, and during the show when they're asking, so where am I in sales? I'm like, oh, well actually you're $53 from earning $25 off your kit. And then after that, you have half price and blah, 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 blah. I talk to them in kit credits. I talk to them that way. I always have it in the forefront of their mind that this is possible. And watch what I'm doing. Look how much fun I'm having. I'm sitting in my LuLaRoos or LuLaRoes. Seriously, this is great. So I make it fun in that way. But I also, I'm very intentional. When I'm out and about, like, I was just at the Cafe Cinema the other day. We have a waitress that brings us food at the movies. And I've seen her a couple times, and she's so happy and excited. I'm like, you would be awesome at this. What's going, and I knew she had a baby at home. I'm like, you could have a little extra money on the side. So be intentional. Talk to those waiters and waitresses that do good service, that give you great service, and recruit. What do you have to lose?
Lately, it seems to be my hosts that I'm recruiting. Like the show I'm closing tomorrow, it's 1,000. She's signing up Monday. The past show, the host is signing up. Just like kitchen shows, if somebody is willing to host a show, that means they love the products. If they love the products, that's already kind of a in with getting them to recruit. So I seem to focus more on the host because I already know they love the product and that they would probably be good at it. But I do put a post once in my 7-day party that's about recruiting if anybody needs any part-time money or whatever. Every once in a while you get somebody that actually reads it and they're like, oh, yeah. And I think they see how easy the party is, and then they're like, oh, I could do this, and that's what I try to mimic.
So how many people in the room were a host before you joined the company, just so everybody can look around? So if we're not asking our hosts, we're doing ourselves a disservice and we're doing them a disservice. It's important for us to offer this opportunity. And I love how Terry described it with talking in kit credit. I didn't do that before, but I'm going to. So let's see where these numbers go for all of us next month, right? Great. Okay, so the next one is, what makes your party, your virtual party, because of course, the company, they give us outlines that we could use. Some of us create our own, some of us use a bit of both. What do you think makes your party more unique than somebody else's, that you have a lot of interaction and a lot of fun?
I think Terry and I kind of do the same kind of party. I post once a day about a product, in the morning usually. And then the rest of my posts during the day are interactive or games. So it's not about all the sales. I'm not shoving the sales down their throat. I post a recipe at night, and then usually some sort of informative post, either like the guest special, recruiting special, the booking special, you know, like what the next couple months are, if they're interested in hosting a show. But I give them like an outline of the very first day. This is what to expect. And, you know, then we just kind of play games all day. Now, I've on purpose crafted some of my interactive posts so that I can comment with pictures of products. So I do get more products in there, but there's only one product a day that I actually post about. All my thank you posts are actually products with the word thank you on it, because that gives you more products in front of people. I've sold so many Stout and Berry spinners just because of using that picture. You know, they're like, oh, what's that? Because I didn't talk about it, but they buy it. It's not about the sales. It's about developing the relationships, and you know, people will buy. We are very fortunate in this business that Pampered Chef is a great name. People know that. People know our products are great. I don't need to tell people to buy stuff. So I try to keep it very informative, fun recipes, fun games, fun interaction.
So all of your engagement posts are also SynShare, like those are all pre-done. Do you manually upload anything that's not SynShare, or you just run your post system and then you just jump on and play games and interact during the day?
SynShare does it all,
Yep.
and then I jump in.
Okay.
Yeah, I jump in with, you know, pictures or whatever, comments.
Do you go live?
No,
And do you do videos?
no.
You don't put videos like home office videos?
Oh,
and
that I
stuff
do.
like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like to be on camera, so this really sucks.
We were on camera saying that. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be fine.
How many
That's
posts?
what they say.
How many posts a day on average do you guys do?
I do nine posts a day.
9 total.
Okay.
That's
9
all.
total, and I do them in clusters because it doesn't blow up people's phones. So it's
Explain a cluster to 'em.
I was fine.
Okay.
I do them 3 minutes apart, and I have sort of shifted the time frame that I do it. I start my parties at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
So the first post is at 8, the second post is at 8:03, the third post is at 8:06. Then I don't post again until 1 o'clock. Then it's 1 o'clock, 1:06, 1:03, 1:06. And then I don't post again until 6 o'clock, 6:03, 6:06. So it's 9 posts a day. I cluster them 3 minutes apart because it's close enough to only show up as one notification, but not so close that Facebook sees it as spam. It's all trying to get around all these Facebook rules and things like that. But by clustering them like that, it won't blow up people's phones and piss them off.
And how do you choose what posts on products to make? Like if you're only doing one
Do
post
you do
a
power
product a day?
Power tools.
Day 6 is the quick cooker. Day 5 is cookware. Day 4 is rock cracks. Help me out, ladies.
All the power-
Last night,
Double
we wrote them
burner.
down.
Double burner grill.
Double burner grill.
Well, that's cookware.
Oh, okay. You do.
Manual food processor's the last day. I talk about the pasta cooker first. And the entertaining stuff. So like the wine bottle opener. Because my interactive posts lead me into talking about more products in the comments.
So just to give one quick example of that, give an interactive post that you see regularly engages your customer into another conversation about other products.
I have a picture looks like a phone pad that has numbers on it, and it says something about, I think it's the last 4 digits of your phone number. These are the products you need for your kitchen, and each one has like the quick cooker, the double burner grill pan. So they're listing all the products in the comments, and then I can post pictures of those things. You would love to have the double burner grill pan in your kitchen because, and that's the other thing is, you cannot set your parties up and let them run on autopilot. You have to go in your parties every single day, and if your guests are making comments, you have to comment back. They are doing it from a phone. You know how hard it is to type from a phone. So they are making an effort, you need to make an effort too. I mean, it's just like a real kitchen show. I mean, if you just showed up and threw crap on the, on a plate and said, here you go, and hand out the catalogs, how effective is that show gonna be? It's not. It's just the same thing with the virtual party. You have to comment. You have to interact. Because that's what, people are there to have a good time. So that's what I do.
And remember, it's your business. So the posts that you're going to get the most engagement for are, you should put where you can actually attend to it. Definitely respond to. If you're not available in the mornings, then don't put those posts in the mornings. Put something else in the mornings. Now I do it a little differently. I do put more products in mine. I probably do about 15 posts per day. I do batches as well. And I do about 5 times during the day, batches. I do it in the morning, I do it around lunch, I do it, right around 4 o'clock, which is a good time, after dinner, and then late at night. But it's all about the experience and telling a story. I mean, isn't that why we're doing this, is to tell the story and bring families together? So when I put out a product, I'm telling them how I'm using it. I'm telling them how they could use it. I'm giving them different reasons or different ways to use the product than what is in our catalog. Like we put the waffle stick maker up there, and I will put in the comments, I just used breadsticks and pizza sauce and toppings on this last week. Or the mini fluted, I put my meatloaves in there, turn them upside down, put mashed potatoes and gravy over them. I give them ideas. When I give a product, behind them I give recipes. Not 1, not 2, sometimes 3 recipes, especially for our new products. Because they don't know how awesome they are unless you show them how awesome they are and what they can do. People look at our donuts, or they look at our mini mo's, or they look at that, and they think one thing.
Yep.
If you give them 2, 3, and 4 different ways of using it, guess what? They're going to be behind those things.
And how many days are your parties, Terry?
Mine are 5, Monday through Friday, about 15, as I said, 15 posts. It's true. I throw 15 out there, but they would never know it.
Right.
Because I do it in groups, they only get a couple of notifications. I have theme days, so the first day is about, the new products. But it also is exactly what she says. They mention a product, guess what? I'm going to Pamper Chef and grabbing that link for that product and bringing it over so they can see what they're talking about. Starting from the very first day when we do a welcome and someone says their favorite product is such and such, I go and grab that over. I bring it over. I give them more information they're looking for, exactly what you'd be doing if you're standing in front of them.
So can I just ask, if they react and is it a private message that you do, or
No,
is it
right
still
there.
All in the
public?
party.
So everybody else
Everybody
sees
else
it
can
All
see
in
it.
the party. Yeah, because you're educating everyone.
Everyone, that's right. Thank
How
you.
many times are you posting a shopping link?
every day.
Every day.
Oh.
Every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I would post it, like I know on my parties, I always post it. Like I love how Terry said, I do my parties very similarly, where I post my things at the prime times people are on. People check Facebook. How many of you check Facebook in the morning before you go to work?
So
When
what
you're on the
time?
Lunchtime,
Right,
on the
right.
toilet like me. Listen, I just want to clarify that one. So I go to the bathroom, and then I hide in the bathroom for 3 minutes to check my messages. But hey, it's the honest truth. I mean, that's what you got to do to make it work. But I do the same thing, but you have to post those links, because otherwise people are not going to hunt for it. So post it when it's
Gotta make it
convenient
easy.
times. Make it easy for them.
I
Ask
usually
your
post
host
it-
to post too.
I usually post it at night.
At night.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's usually where I put the shopping link every day though.
And you could set that up on SynShare also.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could set that up and
It's
put
a,
that
it's
your
a text clip. You can
that
set
your
the
link
text
will
clip.
show every day for every party. You could set that up ahead of time. So it's again that time saver for you, and it's always going to be easy then for your customers.
Say that again. You can post what every day?
The link for the party.
To schedule
So for
it.
people to order, you could schedule it in SynShare. I'm not sure about Post My Party, but you could set it all up, and then that way every day at 7 o'clock, the link could post for every virtual party.
Okay, great.
I just schedule it so that it's set up on like every post. You could test that.
That's a little too much. Because then you're kind of screaming in their face,
Bye.
bye. And like when I do it once a day, usually at night, but I sometimes try to incorporate, I'm kind of sneaky about it. I try to incorporate it as part of an interactive thing, like I'll have them go, it's sort of like a seek and find. Here, use Tammy's link to go find, so then I'm sort of making them go check out the catalog without them saying, here's Tammy's link to go buy something. But I do only post it once a day.
I was just doing it more as a convenience thing, so they don't have to go like looking for the link. Like I just feel like it's like there. Like if they like something, like click here.
Are you doing a description?
A what?
A description? Are you putting a description in your group when you set it up?
I am, yeah.
Okay, actually in the section that says description, that it's on the tabs.
On the right.
Okay, because what I do is I put the description in the beginning, and the link is always there with more information.
And make
But
it
I
an
also make it the
announcement.
very first post, and it actually, I made a picture that says it's in the details, and it's exact same, I didn't redo it, I just posted as the very first post. So I reference that as well, so it's in the description too, so they always know where it is.
Do you guys use product numbers when you're posting, or do you just say, like, very new food processor you don't like, all right,
They
I
can
don't.
search it now, so.
Okay, so the last question I have for these ladies, and you talked a lot about different interactive posts, so maybe you girls could put something on the Mexican team page here so that you guys could have some ideas of what they're posting to make it interactive. Okay, so our last question I have for both of you ladies today is, what is your best tip for virtual parties for everybody to go home with today?
Lori's still thinking. Best tip.
Make a friend, not a sale.
Oh, good tip, Terry.
I have to say my best tip is hostess coaching. That's what makes mine successful. You have to do your hostess coaching every day. Because I can tell when I don't, those are the shows that are not as good. But when I hostess coach every day, they're $1,000 party, just like a kitchen party.
You're spoon feeding to them. Here,
Yeah.
post this.
Yeah, I make it easy. That way they don't have to think of anything.
And are they just what are they posting? Like
Like
products or games
what
or
did you have for dinner this weekend? Or what are you having for dinner tonight?
okay,
I am
so
struggling.
engagement posts.
Engagement posts. I'm struggling to what to make for dinner. What are you guys making? Or what did you cook over the weekend? Or
Or I tell them what my days are, which one is your favorite, and then they'll say, stay tuned, today's my favorite day, or something like that.
what is your favorite product? Have them post that, so then everybody else can comment and stuff like that. It's really easy stuff. Like I said, it's all on Coffee Talk.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Coffee Talk, most of us I think probably are, but Lori did share her outline with everything last year when she was here, or was it May? Oh,
Well,
dear
my
gosh.
coffee talk was May, but I did share.
But you did when you were here at our retreat last year. She went through it, and she's changed it since. But it's a good starting point for anybody. It's a guide for you. The words are there, like she said. Of course, change the name so you're not Lori in the party, But
Don't use my picture.
don't use it. Yeah, don't try to be her.
Yeah,
But
use my
honestly,
phone number and
the
my name.
resources are there. If you go online on Coffee Talk and type in Lori's name, it will come up with that, and it's really a great guide. And that's honestly, she encouraged me to get started last year, and I had a baby last year, and I was doing, I dabble in it. I have a master's in technology, and I was kind of intimidated. And now there's months I do 6 to 20 virtual parties, and my sales have went through the roof, and it makes a big difference. So you've got to add virtuals as that extra component. So can we put our hands together for these ladies? Peggy, you have a question?
No.
One does, one does not. So it's up to your discretion.
I'm not very tech.
So Google Forms. Does anybody use Google Forms?
I'm not tech savvy.
I created one, I use it over and over and over, but it's really a recruiting tool more than anything. I get my own bookings, but I put that question in there, will you host with me or do you want to book a party? And there's a no. And if your host joins, would you book a party? And that turns yes many times. And when you put that
I do that
question
on
in
my
there, you use that for recruiting.
Why do I not do that in my virtuals? I do it in my shows. That's so great.
Grace, we have quite a few questions. How are we? We're good? Okay. Just so I don't want to cut into our time. Okay, so we'll do 5 minutes for questions, so I will do my best. Here, Deb?
Becky, put your hand down. No.
Do you post the price of your product? And Lori said no.
Very rarely.
I don't either.
I don't do it on all because I want them to ask me the question. It gives me an opportunity to give them more information.
Let me try to get some people that haven't asked questions.
Do you do prizes?
Yes, one. I do one prize at the very end, and it's all based on show sales. So it's a sliding scale, just like our pay scale.
Right.
So are my prizes. So if it's a $200 party, it's like a $5 prize. And if it's a $1,000 party, it's a $25 prize.
And you're doing it like they earn tickets based on
Yes.
interaction?
Yes.
And then are you on direct ship or can you add it to their order?
I am not on direct ship. I hope I never get that.
Oh, I love it.
But I can't add prizes after they place their order.
Got it.
That I have to ship it later. But I do try to utilize the host's order if I can. Like if it's going to her, then I can utilize the show discount. Otherwise, it goes on the winner's order.
Do they know it's a sliding scale?
No, it's my party.
I use the same.
I just tell them there's going to be a prize. They get excited.
Yep.
But I don't tell them it's a sliding scale.
Okay, next question, Jamie.
With the volume of parties that you all do virtual, how many different outlines do you use?
That's a good question.
Per month? Like
Or
for,
how many different outlines do you have?
I personally use the same outline, and I've been switching it by seasons. If I have repeat hosts, then that's when I tweak things. But with the way my schedule is, I got to make it effective. And the way I look at it is they may not see every post, and then if they become the host, they might already have that preview and then be more interactive. But I was doing it monthly at one time, and I was driving myself nuts. And I'm like, that's too much. So now I do it seasonally.
I do mine seasonally as well. I just change out the games if I get repeat people, because then I don't want them going back to the old party,
Yeah.
looking up the answers and then cheating and putting the.
Yeah, that's what I have. People are crazy like that.
Yes.
They do. They do.
You only have to tweak a little bit. It's not.
I do catalog season. So I do one show the same all the way through, just like your kitchen show. Do you change it up for the whole season? I don't change it up for the virtual party either.
No.
Yeah, and that's a really good comment that really good idea, by the way, because we want to recruit our hosts to book again if they're not going to join. So you're trying to rebook them within 6 months. I put them on the calendar right away. I do mine every 6 months. So if they're getting a new outline every 6 months. And of course, I do it at the end after they picked all their stuff and I told them how much they saved. We had a lot of fun, didn't we? Let's do this again. You want to do it in 6 months when we get a new catalog, or a year? Not will you, which one?
Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't see your hand. I'm sorry. I'm talking. Is it Becky? Yes, Becky.
How can I tell you?
Are we fans of the party pack PC puts out for us, or do you create your own outline?
I tried PC's party packs for 1 month. This has been my experience. It could be wrong. Yeah, disclaimer. My shows tanked. So I went back to doing it the old way with my own. I still use Pamper Chef's pictures, other than like when some people who are awesome at making pictures, when they do collages and stuff like that. Because now with CinchShare, you can't do multiple pictures within one post. Did they fix it again?
Yeah.
See, it's hard
So
to
you gotta be
keep.
current.
It's hard to keep up. It is hard to keep up. So I was just using, you know, like some of the collages and stuff like that. But I just use Pamper Chef's pictures, and a lot of times they're words. But I don't use the party packs. I thought they were a little flat.
I just wanted to add something too. I personally think with the party packs, it's whoever created it, it's their personality. To me, if you're going to build that friendship and the relationship, it has to show your personality, because then the people are going to connect with you. Like, I'm a goofball in my shows.
Yeah.
So I want them to see that, whereas if I'm following the outline from the company, they're not seeing that part of me, and that's that missing piece I'd be missing. So I make my own also.
Yeah, I sprinkle them in. I don't use it.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's awesome pictures.
Yeah. Videos, if you're going to post the videos, the images from there, it is great. Okay, we have one last question.
Terry, you mentioned theme days. You do a theme each day. I know you said new products your first day.
New products, Kids Day, because that's a popular one, whether it's kids or grandkids. Cookware, entertainment, and the last day is breakfast and something else, or breakfast and favorites. So, but I always start every single day with telling them what that day is, and also bringing it back to them. So asking them a question about them that they get tickets for, because you want it to be about them. You want that personalization. So that's how I start the day.
All right, give these ladies a big hand.
And for these ladies, we actually have some little gifties for being willing to be speakers on our panels, because they had to prepare a little bit, take time out of their day. So thank you. Give them another round of